Good afternoon from Okinawa, Japan, home of Okisubis. Today, we're going to teach you how to convert a Legacy from a twin turbo to a single turbo. And it's a lot harder than you think. All right, so the twin turbo Legacies, right, from early 90s up to about 2002, 2003, had the twin turbo setup. You may have heard a lot in our videos, right? We always mention that the Legacies are kind of like the test dummies. Some good, some bad. Twin turbos, I'm sorry if you guys are a fan. In our opinion, it was bad. And why do we think it's also bad, and why does Subaru agree? Well, after 2003-ish, right? They don't even make it anymore. They canked that idea. They said, sorry, bye-bye twin turbo. But there's a few reasons why, right? One, they do have the valley of death, right? So from when you're going from one to another turbo, there's kind of like a lag. And look at that thing right there. That's a boost control solenoid package for you right there. All them hoses. It's pretty crazy to maintain. You got two up pipes that could technically fail. The intercooler on the back has two that go to the turbo, so it's a pain to put it on there and this and that. So putting it to a single turbo is going to be cool. How are we going to do that? Well, unlike these cool Supras and RX-7s where you can just do an exhaust manifold and be done with it, we're going to do it the Okisubi style, and we're going to merge this bad boy. We're going to pull the engine out, pull the dash, completely redo the wiring, and put a EJ205 from a WRX with some healthy bolt-ons to get the best bang for your buck. Remember that video? Oh man, check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and pull this engine, so let's get to it.
While Kevin is on the inside of the car, I'll be working with David, removing the engine. We do the mechanical side of things, the engine bay. So with this car here, like Kevin was saying, this is really different. So it's got a lot of vacuum lines over here. The vacuum lines run through the firewall on that, or through the fender on that side. They run through the fender on this side. So we'll be removing the wheel and the wheel liner just to check everything out. We have the turbo here and the turbo here. We got two heat shields. We got the intercooler's got to come out. All these vacuum lines over here running around and all that. We're going to be removing all of that stuff. And then, yeah, pulling the engine. So when we get stuck, we'll show you a few things. Check out this wastegate right here. So this is the vacuum side of the wastegate. That thing is ginormous. Look how big it is. Look at that. Compared to this one, this is the normal stock size right here. Crazy. But anyways, we're going to be removing this and removing the engine. Once the engine's out, we'll compare it to another EJ205. All right, let's get to it. Engine's coming out fairly easily. One thing we're working on right now is this AC compressor, that 14 millimeter bolt. It's pretty difficult to get to, so we'll figure that one out. But check this out, this is what I really want to show you. So the boost control solenoid stuff that's over here, you got it unbolted. Just check out that rat's nest. Look at all of that. That's a vacuum leak nightmare. Crazy how many vacuum lines are in that. You need a schematic just for this thing to know where all the vacuum lines go. And I'm sure once you learn the system it's easy, but man, looks like a nightmare. Dash is out. Kevin said he felt like he wasn't working on a Subaru. This thing's so much different than like the older model GCs or GCs in general.
Yeah, like a little clip thing right here. A little clip to hold these two together. It's usually not there. We got a separate harness on the front of this right here. Usually it's attached into the main harness and this kind of goes through there. It's pretty different. But the funny thing is, look at, looks like an EJ20K, right? I guarantee you, most of this is gonna be the tech tip. The tech tip is gonna be to do a merge. To show you how confident we are in merges, I don't have a pinout for this car. We're pulling out the dash, we're pulling out the harness, doing the engine. I don't even have a wire diagram yet for this car. But I'm pretty sure. I've looked in the past how to really do it, a twin turbo to single turbo swap. A lot of guys, what they're doing is they are getting a bunch of GC8 parts or a bunch of GDA parts. They put it on the Legacy and they're swapping the ECU with the WRX because most of the pinouts are the same, except for the engine and turbo solenoid aspect of it. So I'm pretty confident. Worst case scenario, I'll hit up our good friend Kakazu over at Subaru Japan and get a pinout. Worst case scenario, that's why we're really confident.
Day 2, engine's prepped to be removed. We're waiting on a clutch though, so no real rush. One thing though with the heat shields, double the heat shields, right? On this left side, on the passenger side, we're having an issue with one of the bolts that ended up having to be cut off. And check this out, because it's a twin turbo, the turbo sits right in the way of the pin to pull out for the fork. And I'm not gonna remove the turbo obviously, but it comes out just quick, just enough so that you can pull the fork out to get the transmission separated from the engine. This was also pretty easy too. Just had to use a swivel and 2 extensions. The interior is out and the harness is out. The stock dash in this car is like 30 pounds heavier than a GC8. Here's the prep GD harness. Kevin's working on the harness from the Legacy. Anything different about this harness than the 20K harness?
You mean, is there anything the same?
Oh, sorry, is there anything the same? It's all different, huh?
Yeah, it's completely different. But it's like, but the process is the same, right? You're going to basically cut off. I actually had to do it a little bit old school, like the way that I used to do it back in the days, where you don't really know so much about what goes where, right? So here's the connectors to the engine. I know that everything that is being connected from there is not going to be used because there's going to be an EJ205, not this one. So what I do is I actually cut from here. As you can see here, I have cut these. These are the engine connectors. And then from here, now what I do is I will follow this to the ECU and I'm going to cut everything out. So eventually, as you can see here, there are some wires that are cut. There's going to be more wires cut. And the only things that are going to be left are the ones that are going to the dash, which is going to be like radiator fan 1, 2, AC switch, AC relays, that kind of stuff. Whatever the dash is controlled, tachometer and things like that. So the process is going to be the same. After I get this all set up, I'm going to pull up actually an EJ20K pinout and I'm going to see if they match. Most likely they will. If not, I got to get a pinout for this car. But yeah, not too bad. Just a little bit slower because I'm not so confident in the differences and whatnot.
All right, so this is like day 3, 4 working on the car fully, right? So we've been working on it little by little, but we've been waiting on parts, so we didn't really hit it hard until now. So dash is back in, interior's back together, just got to clean it up. Kevin did some fab work on the Grimspeed. The customer provided a Grimspeed up pipe for his setup, and it's got the external wastegate and whatnot, but it's meant for left-hand drive vehicles, right? Because everything's over here, turbo's over there, so you have plenty of space. He ordered this catless downpipe, so it did give us a little bit more room. But with the steering rack and everything there, we had to modify the up pipe. Let me get underneath the car. We can look a little better. Let's see here. So here we are underneath the car, and we got the up pipe. Normally the up pipe has the V-band right on the side of it, so this will just bolt right on the side of the up pipe. But because the steering rack's in the way, the linkage for the steering wheel's in the way, we couldn't go that route. It actually hit it. We couldn't even drop the engine in fully with the up pipe on and no wastegate, just the V-band. So what Kevin did was he cut it off and then rotated it, put it to the other side just a little bit more, then put that pipe on it. So the pipe brings it all the way over here on the outside. And then, yeah, we plumbed it here. Ran the dump. Pretty cool. This downpipe was 100% custom made by somebody. But it looks pretty good. It'll probably be super loud. You're really excited to see what it sounds like. With the coolant going in, and we'll change the oil too, check the oil. We'll probably just start it up right now, get it warm, and then drain all the oil. We'll make sure there's enough oil to start it, of course. Check for leaks. We got to upload the map for it to be able to start it. It does have STI pinks, VF30 turbo, external wastegate. Yeah, some cool stuff. Throw the intercooler on. We're gonna go with the an STI top mount intercooler.
Put in that base map.
Because we did TGV deletes on this one, I think we'll have codes for TGVs, codes for O2 sensor. What do you think we have codes for that you got to delete?
I think we gonna have 0 codes.
Oh, you already deleted them in the map, huh?
Yep. 0 codes. Is that oil pressure?
So when you noticed when we started it up, it had a light on for the oil pressure. We checked here, the oil pressure sensor is connected. What do you think it is, Kevin?
Well, even if it's connected, we check first if it's connected, because if it's not connected, then there should be no reason why it's throwing an oil pressure light, if that makes sense. So the line goes to the OEM oil pressure, and then if that has no pressure, then it'll send the signal to the dash. And like that's like you have 0 oil pressure. So if you see that, yeah, your engine's pretty much toast, typically for like driving around. But I've seen this before on these older models. The oil pressure and the water temp wires go from the engine harness straight to the dash. And with this older Legacy, the colors were different, and I didn't have a diagram, so I did kind of wing those too. And when you start it up and the oil pressure light is on, what I do is I check the coolant. So first things first, you don't actually have to start the car to be able to tell if there will be an issue or not, because if you look right here, a little bit more on that, there you go, right there. So as this coolant is low all the way, I'm going to turn ignition on. And look at it, right when I turn ignition on, the H, it's already hot, right? So when I start it, it goes to cold, and my oil pressure is on. So what that's going to be is those 2 wires are backwards, right? So in this portion, it's really a mistake. It's the 2 wires are backwards. So in this harness, I got to find those 2 wires and flip them around instead of pulling the dash and doing it that way, because it's in that main portion. It'll be fun. Let's try. Yeah, so these are the 2. Again, this is just experience from doing so many merges. I just know that the color pattern, they're right next to each other also. Again, I've also made this mistake before. It usually happens on older harnesses that are hard to get pinouts for, but they have similarities like this one, which was like the EJ20K. So I use the EJ20K one, and these ones here, the harness side is just... I forget, they were like purple or some crazy color, so I was just like, let me try it. So what I do is I just take this and I flip them, put this one in here, put that one back in here, and then you got to put this little cap dealio here and there, and then before I put it all pretty and back, yep, that's not the right one. Let's put this one. Okay, And now if we go back on the inside, when we put the ignition on, so let's turn ignition on. You see the ignition on, no pressure switch, and then that also is not on high. So if that light is on and this is high when you turned it to ignition on, or when you start it, a little bit weird, but I know that's what it is. And then I fixed it. And I would put it back together. So that was the only issue. No check engine lights, TGVs, everything like that was all accounted for. And now we get to tune this thing. External wastegate.
Chugga chugga choo choos? Okay, good.
Yeah, I kind of like winged the wastegate duty cycle, and I'm like, I have the target set for 20 psi, and it was like 21 and some change. So I'm gonna bring the wastegate duty cycle down 5%, and then also the target just a little bit. Feels good. So we are all set. Everything is all done, merged. We have VF30 from a Bug-Eye STI turbo. We have a STI intercooler from also a Bug-Eye STI. Pink injectors from a Bug-Eye STI. This customer did get a Grimspeed wastegate setup, external wastegate setup with a 45 mil Turbo Smart, I think it was. We had to completely customize that. We'll put some pictures in there because it was meant for left-hand drive and the steering column is in the way. So any of you right-hand drive guys want to know if you can get a external wastegate from the aftermarket companies in the States, it will not fit.
As you can see, there is literally barely any room. The turbo will go right about there and the downpipe come right through here, but barely any room for this thing.
Cob intake, some basic bolt-ons, but it's an EJ205. It does great. But yeah, we also set this up after we tuned it. The customer wanted to do a few little special things. So we got these two little switches. This one right here is anti-lag. And then this one right here, when it's off, we are running 15 PSI. And then with flicking it on, it is running about 21 PSI right now. It tapers off to about 17 PSI, but yeah, it actually performs really nice. I don't know, maybe it's the external wastegate that makes it sound faster, but it just, yeah, it feels like it rips. It does a great job. The platform was real simple. It was basically an EJ20K platform when it comes to the wiring. There was nothing different from an EJ20K merge versus this merge. Did have a little bit of issues with the wires there for the coolant temp and also the oil pressure switch, but we just switched those out and everything was good to go. But yeah, super smooth. Even the downpipe came in perfectly in time. He bought a RCM, Roger and Clark Motorsports, I think, catless downpipe, and we got that installed also. ORC, Ogura, 409D, super single clutch. Yeah, it is done. First Legacy. What is this thing called? The BD5?
BD5.
BD5, First Legacy. It's really cool. Nice car. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see another car that is merged I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do no more funky cars. I think we did them all. We've done SF5, we've done the old platform Legacies, we've done GDs, or GCs. What else? What else is there? Anyways. Yep. I lost my words. I don't even know what to say.